My name is Tonya, and for 16 years I signed for everything that mattered. I was a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps. At 34, I held the keys to nearly $4 million of government property on a base in Okinawa. Generators, netting, tools, every single item had my name at the bottom of the list. If something was missing, I owned the missing. That was the only rule I ever trusted. 7,000 miles away, on a quiet street in Guthrie, Oklahoma, my mother and my sister Robin lived in the same small house where I grew up. Every month since my father died, $600 left my pay before I ever saw it. I never asked what it paid for. I just kept sending it. I thought that was what family did. I was buying my first house, a little brick place near Camp Lejeune with a leaning pecan tree in the back. For the first time in my life, the paperwork would carry only one name, mine. Closing was weeks away. My loan officer called the file clean. I believed him. Then the email arrived at 4:30 in the morning. 3 new credit lines had been opened in my name while I was deployed. Almost $25,000. 2 of them already past due. My debt-to-income ratio exploded overnight. The house I had dreamed about for years was suddenly hanging by a thread. I pulled my own credit report on the slow base Wi-Fi. Sooner Plains Federal Credit Union, Holbrook's Home Center, Century First Bank, all opened in the last 90 days. All in my name. All without my knowledge. I sat on the edge of my rack and felt the same flat calm I get during an inventory when the count comes up wrong. Something was missing. Something that belonged only to me. I called my mother. She did not apologize. She said Robin was struggling. She said I wasn't using my credit anyway. Those words stayed in the air long after the call ended. I had spent 16 years treating every signature like a promise. My own family had treated my name like something they could borrow without asking. I did not scream. I did not cry. I simply opened a new folder on my laptop and labeled it with the only word that still made sense, truth. The next days blurred into paperwork and silence. I contacted every lender. I froze my credit. I requested every application, every signature, every IP address. The bank that held my future house loan needed one thing, before they would restart the process. A police report, not to punish anyone, just to prove the accounts were not mine. So I filed it. From 7,000 miles away, sitting in a supply office that smelled of hot rubber and dust, I reported the only people who shared my last name. When I finally spoke to Robin, her voice was small and tired. She said she thought I would understand. She said Mom told her it was temporary. She said she was going to pay it back. Every sentence felt like another line item that did not belong on my ledger. My mother called again, this time angry. She said I was choosing strangers over family. She said blood is thicker than paper. I listened until she finished, then answered the only way I knew how. If my name is on it, I am responsible for it. There is no third column. Those words had always been true in the Marine Corps. Now they had to be true at home. The investigation moved slowly. Statements, copies of applications, photographs of signatures that looked almost like mine but were not. I learned that my mother had driven Robin to the bank, that she had spoken to the loan officers, that she had used my old address and my old phone number. The same phone number that still received my allotment every month. I kept working. I still signed for every generator and every case of straps. I still made sure nothing was missing on my side of the ocean. But something inside me had shifted. The quiet trust I once carried for the people who raised me was gone. In its place was a colder kind of clarity. I began sleeping less. I started writing everything down. Dates, times, the exact words my mother used. Writing the truth felt like the only honest thing left in the house I once called home. 11 days after I filed the report, my phone rang again. My mother's voice was no longer angry. It was broken. The police had contacted them. The accounts were under investigation. Robin's name was now tied to the same paper that had once carried only mine. I did not feel triumph. I felt the weight of a choice I never wanted to make. The consequences arrived quietly at first, then all at once. Robin was required to appear. The credit lines were closed and marked as fraudulent. My own credit began the long climb back toward clean. The house loan restarted. On a humid afternoon in August, a real estate attorney signed the final papers for me while I stood in a different time zone, staring at a photo of that leaning pecan tree. My mother stopped calling for a while. When she finally did, her voice was smaller than I had ever heard it. She said she was sorry. She said she never thought it would go this far. I listened. I did not interrupt. When she finished, I told her the only truth I still owned. I will always love you, but I will never again sign for something that is not mine, not even for family. The house closed. The keys arrived in a small envelope with my name on the front. For the first time in my life, a wall belonged only to me. I walked through the empty rooms on a video call with my attorney and felt something I had not expected, peace that did not need permission. Robin eventually paid what she could. The rest was discharged through the investigation. My mother and I speak carefully now. The way people speak when they know the paper between them can never be rewritten. I still send money home sometimes, not because I have to, because I choose to. The difference is everything. If this story finds you while you are still the quiet one who always signs, who always sends, who always assumes family will protect your name, the way you protect theirs, hear me clearly. You can keep showing up for people without signing for them. Being present and being liable are two different jobs. My name is still on the bottom of every list that matters, but now it is only on the lists I choose, and that is enough.